How many of you have ever felt that life keeps testing you? Please raise your hands. You give your best. You plan, you work hard, and you persevere, but still things collapse around you, be it your relationship, your finances, or your career. And you keep wondering, why me? How much more can I take? Friends, let me tell you the truth about suffering. Suffering doesn't come to break you, it comes to build you. You probably would have heard this. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Let me offer a different perspective to you today. You may want to write it down. Pain tests you, but suffering transforms you. Everyone wants a life without suffering, but a life without suffering is a life without growth. Life successes don't always go to the most competent person. Sooner or later, the person who succeeds is a person who is willing to suffer the longest without giving up hope and purpose. In the military, they don't teach you to be the strongest. They train you to be the last one standing. They break your body so that they can build your mind. No comfort, no sleep, and hours of crawling in the mud, bleeding feet, and after that someone come in front of them and asks, how is the spirit? And they shout, very, very high, sir, because they know there is a meaning in their suffering. Viktor Frankl has said very beautifully, suffering ceases to be suffering the moment it finds meaning. So I'll take a pause here and ask the same question to you. And I want all of you to answer as loudly as possible. So are you ready? How's the spirit? Whenever you are going through a rough patch in life and somebody comes to you and asks, how's it going? You invariably say, I'm going through hell, man. And you consider that as bad, isn't it? But that's not bad. If you are in hell, that means you are on the right path. Congratulations. Because the next destination on that path is heaven. A wise man has said that road to heaven passes through hell. If you're in hell, don't quit. Keep pushing through it. Who would want to remain in hell forever? Doesn't make sense. Now the question arises, how does one learn to suffer better? And the most effective way is to get married. And the next one is to change your relationship with suffering. Change how you look at suffering. When you're suffering, instead of saying, why me? Say, try me. Don't avoid it. Don't run away from it. Embrace it. Live through it. Because suffering is the fire out of which legends are born. I learned it firsthand when I was going through military training in the academy. We used to have English classes, and that would usually be the last class before lunch. One time, our instructor gave us some topics to prepare presentation on and deliver it in the class. For the first few days, cadets came and delivered their presentation, and everything went off very well. Until one day, one of the cadets didn't deliver his presentation. Obviously, he was not prepared. The instructor got furious. He took the entire class out and punished us very, very bad. That evening, when we came back to our barracks, we decided from tomorrow onwards, nobody is going to present in the class, even if he's prepared. Next morning, when the instructor came to our class, he got the shock of his life because the class was empty. He looked to his right, he looked to his left, but couldn't find anyone. When he turned around, he couldn't believe what he saw. The entire class was on the road in bent position. You should have seen his face. It turned beetroot red. He was trembling with rage. And for the next 1.5 hours, he made our life miserable. He made us do all sorts of things. Crawling, rolling, running. And besides that, he made us lie down shirtless on that hot road. The road was so hot, if you cracked an egg on it, it'll become omelette. We got blisters on our back because of that. And the skin of our forehead started coming off because of holding tank position on that hot and uneven road. That day, when he was leaving, he had a smirk on his face as if telling us, don't mess around with me next time. Next morning, when he came to the class once again, guess what he found? Empty class. But that day he knew where to find us. And I don't have to tell you what happened after that. This continued for the next 5, 6 days. Every day he would increase the dose of his punishment. But he forgot that we were those bacteria who had become immune to all sorts of antibiotics. On the seventh day, we waited for him. We waited some more, but he didn't come. In fact, he never came to our class after that day. For those 5, 6 days, we suffered a lot physically, but not mentally, because we had changed how we looked at that situation. Instead of considering that as punishment, we took it as a challenge as to who would give up the first, him or us. And that day, we learned a very, very important lesson in life. When you are not scared to suffer, suffering can no longer threaten you. And if you learn how to suffer better, you don't just endure it, you evolve through it with the belief that nothing outside of you can shake what has been built within you. And then you don't just survive the storm, you emerge out of it, transform. Friends, that's how it happens with life also. Whenever you are trying to build your career or pursue some goal or trying to transform yourself, you'll face humiliation, rejection, and setbacks. At that point of time, it doesn't matter how badly you wanted it. What matters is that how long are you willing to suffer without quitting? Because if you continue suffering little more, you'll reach places where others won't. Suffering is the price you must pay for greatness. And every scar is the proof that you refuse to give up. A few years later, I signed up for a 160 kilometers ultramarathon run. Everything was chill till 110 kilometers. Okay, I'm lying. I was tired, but everything was under control. But after that, I took a wrong turn and lost my way. When I realized that, I was shattered because I was going through excruciating pain. I was not able to take even a single step forward without suffering. At that moment of despair, I sat down on the road and tried to figure out what to do the next. And I realized I've got two options available to me. First, to continue. But the odds were stacked against me. My body said no, my mind said no, even my watch said low battery, bro. And the next was to quit. The moment this thought came to me, I told myself, you keep telling your two girls at home, never ever quit in your life. If you quit today, what kind of example are you going to set in front of them? You must walk your talk. And I decided that it doesn't matter how much time it takes for me to complete, but I'm going to complete that race. And I told myself, it isn't over until it's over. And with that thought, I got up and started running. But I did not focus on that remaining 50 kilometers. I focused on the next tree or the next bush. When I grew more tired, I just focused on the next step. And that's how I completed the race. Not by conquering 160 kilometers, but by conquering what was right in front of me. In life, whenever you're facing a challenging situation, your mind races all over the place. You get overwhelmed by the enormity of the situation and you can't think straight. At that point, focus on what's in your control in that moment. When you do that, it eliminates doubt, confusion, and indecision and builds resilience, decision making, and clarity. In fact, Navy SEALs also have a similar kind of concept. They call it as 3 feet world rule. Whenever they are on a critical mission, they shrink their world to 3 feet. When you are going through a critical phase, shrink your world to 3 feet. Focus on what you can control, your thought, your emotion, and your next action, and let go of the things that you can't control, other people's behavior, their opinion, and the outcome of the event. In that moment, take the tiniest possible action that you can. With every action that you take, you build the momentum. And eventually, you will come out of that situation. Freedom begins the moment you stop worrying what is beyond you and take charge of what is within you. Some things break under pressure, some things survive, some grow stronger. And that is what it means to be anti-fragile. It means you don't just bounce back, you bounce higher. Every setback becomes the stepping stone for your success. Every hardship becomes the key to the lock to unlock your greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever you are going through in life right now, just remember, you're not defined by what happens to you. You're defined by how you rise after it. So next time life feels unbearable, don't ask for lighter burden, ask for stronger back. When you are suffering and want to quit, just remind yourself, diamonds are just gold that refuse to give up under pressure. You don't become great by avoiding pain. You become great by walking straight through it. And every time you do, your story becomes the light for someone walking in dark. So embrace the suffering. Find the meaning. Rise and become anti-fragile because you were born to endure and built to rise. Next time, if life feels hell, take a pause, smile, and tell yourself, congratulations, you're on the right path.